Hey, what's going on there, Dice Rollers? Paul here, and I'll be your DM for a while. Today I want to talk to you about the progress I've been making on the Gygax 75 Challenge, which is creating our own little world and setting. Before we get into that, though, if you're brand new here to the channel, thank you so much for being a part today. Appreciate your time and your attention. If you would like to get videos like this in your inbox on a regular basis, be sure to click that subscribe button down there, and that's exactly what will happen. So one of the prompts of week 1 is create a mood board. And the mood board is a set of influences, things that have influenced my life and things that I think are going to influence the world and the setting that I want to create. I have chosen mostly movies because I do love movies, and I grew up in the 80s, so there's a lot of great fun movies from the 80s that I want to choose from, but also later movies that I think are going to fit into the setting as well. They all have a apocalyptic nature to them. So let me go ahead and start by sharing some of the movies that I have chosen that are going to influence the setting. Blood of Heroes with Rutger Hauer, Mad Max, all of them, Alita, Battle Angel, Hunger Games, and Land of the Dead. Now, not only do all of these movies have that apocalyptic setting to them, they also tell a story of class and resources, that there's the haves and the have-nots. And so all of these movies play into that, but also games. Alita, right, is a roller derby queen, if you will. Hunger Games has people fighting against each other to be able to be the winning state, if you will. And then you have Blood of Heroes, which has a great system of a game where you have teams trying to put a skull on a stake. And so all of these have that apocalyptic nature, but also a game in them, except for maybe Land of the Dead, which really influences more in the class setting, where it really has this group of the dead that are really hung up about all these rich people that have stuff that they don't have, and they're very angry about it. But yeah, so those are my resources. That's my mood board that kind of creates that little mood that I want for the setting. Now, let me go ahead and show you the actual kind of little doodles that I made and explain a little bit more about the setting that I'm trying to create. And of course, I'll ask for your help as well. And it's divided into two parts. It's divided into kind of a lower Earth and an upper Earth. And the upper Earth are these flying citadels that you can see right here. And these flying citadels have technology. They have ways of producing technology. Maybe it's steampunk or, those type of orientations. It could be just, magic and technology. But needless to say, these are prosperous. This is the prosperous upper Earth, and this is the not so prosperous lower Earth. In fact, if I were to call this a game system, or not a game system, but a game setting, maybe I'd call it scraps. Because what happens is that somehow the scraps from here fall to here. It's kind of the gift that they give here from these flying citadels. Now, I've not quite figured out yet why the citadels are flying. I think that's the mystery. Where do these citadels come from? And inside, within the mountain itself, within the citadel that's flying, is this kind of magic item that's keeping it afloat. In addition, there are some flying things, boats, could be anything, that kind of bring in supplies to these citadels. And I don't know where these come from yet, but that's the idea, that somehow these flying, contraptions of some kind are delivering to these citadels. I think of in Mad Max Road Warrior, where you had the pilot in that little helicopter. Some things like that are delivering things to the citadels, and we don't know where these flying things are coming from, but that could be part of the mystery. Now you have the lower Earth here, and the lower Earth, like I said earlier, there's a combination of, an apocalypse, and now there's kind of this gaming system where one of the options is to become a part of the game system and part of the tournaments that happen there. And there's a little battlefield here, just to show you just what kind of some of the things are on there. And I put those little stakes there, and the little skulls where from Blood of Heroes, where in that you had to put a skull on a stake and you would win. And then there's junk. It's that junk that comes off these citadels and comes to the earth here somehow. I haven't figured that out part yet. And then there's communities. There's communities dotted all over the land here, and each one is its own section. Some of them have these teams, if you will, that compete. And eventually, I believe that they will eventually be able to compete on these flying citadels. Why? I don't know yet. I'm going to figure all that out in the future. So here's my pitch. My pitch is high-tech magic apocalypse, flying citadels with a class system. They compete to win tournaments, gladiator tournaments or races of some kind to get to the Citadel to be able to compete. There are warlords in these communities, and so each of these communities are their separate own type of things that have warlords over them. There are flying machines bringing supplies to the Citadels, and trash is thrown to the lower Earth from the upper Earth that they don't need anymore. And so that's how they get rid of their trash from up there, is they just throw it to the earth, and that's their way of gifting the lower Earth some of their prosperity. So yeah, that's it. That is kind of where I've started, and I'm going to continue on and give you progress as I go along. Your comments are more than welcome. Please go ahead and leave them down below. What are your questions? What can I maybe add to it if you're thinking about? Do you have any creative ideas? As you're watching this, you say, hey, that's a good idea. Put that in there. All right. Well, leave me a comment. Is this a setting you would play in? I would love to hear about that. All right, and that is the beginnings of my setting. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Be sure to click that thumbs up button. Let me know you like the video and you want more of them. But that's it for today, guys. Appreciate you being a part today, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.